You there, Eric?
Can you hear us, Dominic?
Yes, I can.
In the high school.
No.
You can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Is everybody there ready to start?
Yes, we are.
Okay, very good. I welcome everybody to the Town Planning Zoning Commission meeting for February 8th, 2023. And if everybody could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
United
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, very good. Noreen, if you could do the roll call, please, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, Chairman Payne,
Here,
Commissioner Claffey,
Here.
Commissioner Haggerty,
Here.
Commissioner Havens,
Here.
Commissioner Linares,
Here.
Commissioner Trister,
Here.
Commissioner Woods, Commissioner Droz,
Here.
Commissioner Gill,
Here.
Commissioner Pascarelli. Here. You're all set.
okay, very good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We have approval of the agenda. There's no changes, correct, Eric?
There are no changes tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, very good. Next thing on the agenda is public participation for items not listed on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. If there's anybody there that would like to speak, now's your chance.
There's no one on Zoom. Hear anybody in the room?
Nobody's in, okay, and nobody's on Zoom for it. Okay.
Nope.
All right, we'll go right into our zoning enforcement officer's report. Everybody received in their packet a report from our zoning enforcement officer. Does anyone have any questions for Eric?
They don't appear to have any, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, very good. Hearing no complaint. Is there any remarks from our commissioners? Hearing no remarks from our commissioners, we're going to go to our first public hearing. And before I do, if Commissioner Havens, if you could read the procedures for our public hearing, I'd appreciate it.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Procedures for public hearings. The order of proceedings of public hearings shall be as follows. A, convening by chairperson. B, reading of the notice by the commission secretary or commissioner designated by the chairperson to act in their stead. C, presentation by applicant. D, town planner report on the application. E, persons wishing to speak in favor of the application, limited to 3 minutes per person. F, persons wishing to speak in opposition to the application, limited to 3 minutes per person. G, rebuttal by the applicant, limited to 5 minutes total. During a public hearing, it shall be within the discretion of the chairperson whether the time limitations should be varied slightly, provided the commission consents to any such variance by a majority vote.
Very good. Thank you very much, Commissioner. Could Vice Chairman Claffey, could you read our first public hearing petition 0123 for the record, please?
Public hearing petition 01-23 special permit section 3.15.6 for a place of physical activity at 28 Fen Road. Applicant contact Joseph Bermudez, owner Robert Goldfeather.
Okay, very good. Is the applicant here?
I am present. This is Joe Bermudez.
Hey, Joe, welcome to the meeting. Could you just explain to everybody what you're planning on doing? And then we'll go in and check with staff. This is pretty simple, but if you could just explain to everybody what you're planning on doing, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you everyone for having me tonight. Our plans are to lease out spaces 28A and 30C of the shopping plaza here on Fen Road. We are going to convert those two vacant spaces into an F45 training fitness facility. Basically an open plan where the front of the store will be used for a training area, while the back will house our restrooms, office, and storage. F45 Training is a business that offers group training classes. Groups usually range anywhere from 15 to 25 folks at a time. And they're usually not like your usual Gold's Gym where they have a bunch of equipment everywhere, but this is more body weight agility focused CrossFit training exercises that occur. And that's pretty much it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Joe. Eric, would you like to, I'm not sure if you could just give a staff report, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. So, the Fen Road Stop and Shop Plaza, as pointed out in the staff report, since the shopping center is in excess of 50,000 square feet, parking calculations are really not required for this. His hours of operation, which he didn't go over real quick, he opens usually at 5 a.m. So there's going to be some overlap time there, time when the parking lot is empty. I don't believe parking is going to be an issue at all. It's just going to get a business back in that plaza that's keep it vibrant and going. And otherwise, I think we're good. The only consideration we had is if in the future they have any intention of, serving food or beverages, that's going to be a separate review and approval by special permit. But I don't believe that's the case. They didn't indicate that.
Okay. Very good, Eric. Thank you very much for that report. I appreciate it. And does any of the commissioners have any questions for our staff or for Joe? Any commissioners have any questions concerning this before I go to the public hearing? I mean, the public portion?
Yes, I have one question.
Go right ahead, Commissioner.
Is there any outdoor activities going to be going on with CrossFit?
No, typically training and all classes are held within the facility.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questioners? Any other questions from commissioners? All right, hearing none. I'll ask if there's anybody. We'll go to the public. Is there anybody wishing to speak in favor of this application? Please come forward if you'd like to speak in favor of it. Hearing
Has their
none.
hand raised in Zoom.
Go right ahead.
No, I just said nobody has their hand raised in Zoom.
Oh, I thought you said somebody was. Okay, is anybody wishing to speak in opposition of this application? Hearing none. Provided that there's no objection, I would entertain a motion to close public hearing petition 0123 and move for action.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion moved by Commissioner Havens. Do I hear a second?
Seconded by Haggerty.
Thank you, Commissioner Haggerty, for the second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It's unanimous. We'll be moving that to the old business later on. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Okay, the next thing on our agenda is approval of minutes. We have approval of minutes for January 11th, 2023 meeting. I'll entertain I'm sorry. Yeah, minutes of January 11th. Yep, January 11th meeting. Entertain a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Havens. Do I have a second?
Seconded by Haggerty.
Thank you, Commissioner Haggerty, for the second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next thing we're in, on the agenda is new business petition 54-22. If Commissioner Lenars, if you could read that, I'd appreciate it.
Petition 54-22, site plan modification at 249 Day Street for the expansion of a parking lot and increased number of Eversource vehicles stored on site. Applicant Mirabelli Automotive LLC, contact Robert Ludgen, owner 249 Day Street LLC.
Thank you, Commissioner Lenars. Is the applicant here?
Yes, I'm here as his lawyer, and he's here. Peter Mirabelli.
I want you to do a brief presentation. I know Jim, I don't think is online, so I put your plans up. If you guys just want to briefly discuss
What you doing?
what the, you know,
Honorable Commissioners, I'm filling in for our engineer. He's over at Rocky Hill. He may be online. He's hoping he could be available, but if not, I told him I would speak up for it. As you indicated already, it was 1 year ago. This was on the agenda, and it was approved, and we get a permit for parking for 50 trucks. And you may recall, these are these supersized trucks with the buckets for Eversource to be used whenever there's an emergency. The idea being that they have them available now instead of having people driving in from out of state with their trucks. So we're here tonight hoping that you'll approve an increase in the size of, or the number of trucks that would be allowed. We had 50 approved, and we're asking for approval of 75. However, the plan, as it came out, I think it has spaces for 66 in the back. So that's what we're looking for. And Jim Cassidy is the engineer who asked me to pass on to you that he thinks he's worked out everything with staff, except for some very minor matters, and he wanted me to assure you that he'll continue working with them to smooth out whatever little items may be left.
Okay. Thank you very much. Why don't we go to a staff report?
so just so everyone's aware that the plan up on the screen, the gray, the portion on the left, the white area, that was priorly approved. The gray areas are parking lot expansion. This is a drainage swale because of the wetlands. They've gone through wetlands and they've been approved, so you can take action. There's no problem there. The biggest concerns from staff were we asked for some more plantings along here for an arborvitae screen for the residents across Francis Avenue. And we also asked them to put slats in the chain link fence along that Francis Avenue side as well. And a little bit up here just to help with the screening and the buffering, especially during months when leaves and stuff are off the tree. The other concern that we had, which I talked about with the engineer this afternoon, is there are some poles along Day Street, and it appears that, and maybe Mr. Mirabelli can speak to this, that Eversource has installed their own overhead lighting there to, you know, to view their trucks and stuff at night. They are very bright. We've asked the engineer to put on some shields or cutoffs for those to help just reduce any light going across Francis Avenue. But the applicant did not install them. So we're gonna have to go probably directly to Eversource to try and work that out.
The intention is to cooperate with you with any concerns. And I talked to Jim Cassidy about that today. He assured me that he talked with you about it. He was aware of it. And are you aware of that as well, Peter?
No.
Right. So the idea is that whatever is requested and needed for diminishing the light pollution, so to speak, will be addressed.
Those were the biggest concerns. Mr. Cassie addressed all the engineering comments yesterday, and engineering reviewed them today. So engineering is good with their comments as well.
Is there, Eric, if I could ask you a question, is there a reason why you didn't carry the arborvitae's down farther?
We can. I think the concern was on that corner, but
I'm wondering why that the fence there comes to a point and like protrudes almost like into the right of way there. Maybe the fence could be pushed back a little bit on an, and so it's not a point, and we could bring some landscaping in there. And the only other concern is there's some existing landscaping closer to the road. Will that be removed so that we have proper sight lines?
that stuff near the road is probably in the town right away. I have requested in the past that parks keep an eye on that and keep that mowed. I will remind them. If it's within 10 or 15 feet of the edge of pavement, that's probably the town right away.
Well, it's probably a combination on right on the edge there. There should be no reason why they can't clean that whole corner. I think landscaping would be vitally important to the residential neighborhood there.
So I'm sure, as the applicant stated, they would work with us if we want to extend that arborvitae, down roughly to the point, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they would be amenable to that.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Very good. Any other questions from commissioners?
Yeah, I have a question, Chairman, through you.
Mhm. So
How many spaces are on this now? Because I'm counting, am I missing some? Because I'm only counting 66.
I counted the same, and I talked to Jim today, he did the same too. So even though we asked for 75, he did the plans, that's all he could put in.
So are you asking for 75 or are you asking for 66? Because if we give you approval for 75 and your plan says 66, that's like egg on our face for approving something that's not right.
So this is really a site plan modification of an expansion of the parking lot. If he can fit 66, I mean, I think you can make that clear. It's whatever's gonna fit. If you wanna make it 66, it's fine.
that's a good point.
I don't see any, what I'm getting at is I could have sworn there, what we approved from the last plan, usually you have an overlay of what's the major difference between the site plan we approved and the site plan you want us to modify.
So yeah, the gray portion is that's the modification. They're adding that parking. They're gonna build that parking lot. They're gonna add that in, and the drainage swale. There's
50, but that's still
So everything in the white, that was what you approved.
34 spaces.
Yes, approximately, yes. That's the number. I cannot remember off the top of my head. But
Just,
Are you all set, Commissioner Claffey?
so are we giving them approval for 75 and only show 66?
I
Or
think
are
that,
we giving approval for 66?
I think we can condition it.
I'm trying, and my second question is to the planner. When we approved this last year, I remember there were still outstanding items that weren't, it was like approved conditionally upon 2 or 3 items being finished. Were those taken care of?
They completed the majority of it. The additional conditions in here, I think it's just about the plantings of the additional trees are in the motion to make sure that those get in.
So we gave them approval, it still didn't get done. Now they're back looking for more approval with stuff that still wasn't done since last January. Correct, for the record.
The trees along Day Street did not get planted.
We're still looking for stuff that we approved to you guys a year ago that hasn't been done, but you want modifications, the stuff that still hasn't been done. Am I clear on that, or?
That's just a plan, is it not?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay.
okay.
Slats in the fence?
Any other questions from,
We didn't do that last time.
Yeah, I just have one quick question, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to clarify about the Inland Wetlands Commission. If they have been approved, it's already done deal there? Okay,
There was a memo, it should have been in the packet. It was approved in December, at the December meeting of 2022.
thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners? I think that handles everything. This is in our old business, so we'll address this later on under old business. As long as there's no further questions for the applicant or staff. I'm hearing none, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to our old business. Commissioner Woods, would you read petition 54-22, please?
Woods isn't here.
He's online.
Oh, yeah.
I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Petition 54-22, site plan modification at 249 Day Street for the expansion of a parking lot and increased number of Eversource vehicles stored on site. Applicant Mirabelli Automotive LLC. Contact is Robert F. Ludgen, owner, 249 Day Street LLC.
And I'm going to assume that there's someone at the meeting that has a motion for that. If they could, Commissioner Woods and myself don't have a motion in front of us. Commissioner Lenars, could you read the motion?
Petition 54-22, site plan modification, 249 Day Street. Motion to approve petition 54-22, site plan modification, section 5.3.9 for parking lot expansion at 249 Day Street. Owner 249 Day Street LLC, applicant contact R. Ludgen, Zone 1. Reference plans, site plan modification application, and wetlands and water courses application for 249 Day Street, prepared by Hallisey, Pearson, and Cassidy for 249 Day Street LLC, sheets 1 through 10 inclusive, dated 11/4/22, revised 2/6/23. Conditions. 1, the plans shall be revised to modify the planted landscape buffer along Francis Ave, so each emerald green arborvitae is planted with a separate distance of 4 feet, with the total planted buffer length to be maintained. 2, the plan shall be revised to address any outstanding comments from the town engineer and fire marshal. 3, shields shall be added to the existing pole-mounted parking lot lights. 4, a single PDF copy of the final plans with all the necessary revisions shall be provided to the planning department. 5, additional erosion and sedimentation controls may be required by town staff if field conditions necessitate. 6, all erosion and sedimentation control shall be installed and inspected before the commencement of the site work. 7, this project shall be constructed and maintained in accordance with the final plans. Minor modifications to the approved plans that result in lesser impacts may be allowed, subject to staff review and approval. 8, any modifications to the proposed drainage or grading as depicted on the site plan are subject to review and approval by the town engineer. 9, and lastly, by acceptance of this approval and its conditions, the applicant, owner, and or their successors and assigns acknowledge to the right of town staff to periodically enter the subject property for the purpose of determining compliance with the terms of this approval. That's it.
Mr. Chairman, I didn't know if you guys want to discuss the number of vehicles.
Yeah, that should be on there somewhere, noting that it's only 66 parking spaces, so that would be the maximum. And then also, does landscaping cover what we talked about, and if that's the wishes of the commission, how they can expand that?
The applicants agreed to it. I think we can work with the engineer to make
Okay.
that happen.
Okay,
Mr.
And-
Chairman,
yes,
on that, we were specific in our approval that they are provided to be planted are green, emerald green. That's probably the worst one to pick for there. It should be green giant. The emerald greens tend to stay very small, very slow growing. This is something we're looking to get screening relatively quickly. So either a green wave or a
Let's-
green giant would be more appropriate.
thank you very much, Commissioner Woods. So if there's no objection from the commissioners, maybe we should substitute green giants as plants for that.
If that's okay, I will alter that condition and add the green giant variety. if-
Okay,
If
Is
that's
that
your
all-
wish.
the rest of the commissioners?
Sure.
Commissioner Woods would know.
Okay. Very good. And then we have the condition that it's only 66 parking spaces. We have the motion read and everybody understands it. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
We have one opposed?
Haggerty opposes.
Opposes.
Haggerty opposes. Okay. Thank
And
you.
Claffey opposes.
And Claffey opposes. Okay. Motion passes 5-2. Okay, the next thing on the agenda, Commissioner Claffey, if you could read petition 0123, please.
Petition 01-23, special permit section 3.15.6 for a place of physical activity at 28 Fen Road, Suites 28A and 30C. Applicant, contact Joseph Bermudez, owner Hayes Kaufman, Newington Associates LLC.
Okay, very good. And if you could read the motion also, please.
Yep. Let me get it. Petition 01-23, special permit request 28 Fen Road. Motion to approve petition number 01-23, special permit section 3.15.6 for a place of physical activity at 28 Fen Road. Owners Hayes Kaufman, applicant, contact J. Bermudez, Zone PD. Conditions. Any changes to this use, including the service of food or beverages, shall require a separate review and approval. 2, exterior business signage shall require a separate permit by the planning and building departments.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Claffey. Do I have a second?
Second. Commissioner
Second by
Havens?
Commissioner Havens. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Joe. Okay, next thing we have on the agenda is petitions for public hearing scheduling. There isn't any, and we'll go right
Yes,
in.
I do have one that just came in yesterday.
Okay,
It's going to be for the 4-family house at 100 Deming Street. They're gonna get formal approval for conversion of an older home because nobody could locate any kind of a prior approval, and the new owner wants to get it to formalize it. So
what property is this?
100 Deming Street, it's part of the old Peckham Farm. The last house that's left, I believe there's 4 apartments in it now. It's
It's a large red house, Dominic, but
Yep.
they didn't tear down.
right.
Okay.
So it's the last piece left. A new owner bought it and he wants to formalize the process because no prior owners can locate any prior approval. I can't find anything, so they're gonna go forward with that. That should
Okay.
be on for the first meeting in March.
Okay, very good. Okay, you want to go right into your town planners report if there's anything?
Yep, I can do that. So let me just grab a couple things. So you also got in your packet, there was the changes we discussed to uses in the commercial district zone. We define to allow personal services uses. So we added a definition for that and a small text amendment to allow it. If the commission is good with it, I'll do the CROG referral and we'll get that scheduled.
Commissioners, how do you feel about that?
One question on the personal services is, you said, just to clarify, that's just in what districts or just commercial?
CD, right.
CD,
We
okay.
allow personal services in most other, in the business district, but the commercial district doesn't allow it. And that one little strip there along Willard, I think it would be certainly helpful to them. And I see no reason not to allow it, but.
Yep. I have no problems with this. I think it solves some of the problems for landowners that are looking for tenants. And I don't see it to be detrimental in any way. As long as there's no objection from the commissioners, I would suggest that you file that with CROG.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay. Anything else?
The only other item of note is the new planner starts on Monday. So we should be seeing him at future meetings and whatnot as well.
Very good. Thank you for that update. All right, we have some CROG letters that everybody received. Is there any questions concerning those?
The only one of interest that I saw glancing through there was Farmington placed a moratorium on multifamily buildings and units. So just thought that was interesting. A lot of the other ones had to do with cannabis.
Any commissioners have any questions or concerns? Hearing
Was
none,
the, I don't know,
go ahead.
No, I was just on that, Farmington, was that just on certain size lots or was that?
That was proposed moratorium on multifamily and single-family residential developments that create 3 or more lots or units.
So
You know,
the South Windsor kind of had the same thing.
Extremely restrictive.
yeah, I mean, it is a moratorium. Maybe they're just gonna look at it and
Interesting that Farmington has one, South Windsor has one. There's probably some new term coming in townhome / condo living, if I had to guess.
maybe.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right, if there's nothing else and there's no objection, we'll go to public participation. If there's anybody within the Zoom application, please raise your hand if you'd like to participate during public participation. If calling in the Zoom meeting by telephone, dial *9 to raise your hand. To be recognized, use *6 to recognize, speak by telephone, and please state your name and address for the record. Is there anybody in person there that would like to say something?
Anyone?
Anybody online?
Someone's coming up in person, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you.
Tyler, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I was wondering if, I haven't heard anything, but you hear stuff around town. I was wondering about the train station. Any new business going on with that? Is inside for the public, I think. There's a lot of concern out of about the train station going in. And I hear that, I don't know, could you guys pick me up okay? On the mic?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay, I just, but because there's a lot of chatter on certain sites that this thing is already in the works. And it's just a matter of time. And I would just like clarification as to where we stand on the train station. Because
Okay.
we're talking about going through from Hartford to Berlin, we're talking about ripping up the environment, going through probably Weathersfield, maybe Rocky Hill, New Britain, into Newington to get to Berlin, which it only takes 10 minutes to get to the train station in Berlin and 15 to get to the train station in Hartford. So I see absolutely no reason whatsoever, under any circumstance, that there should be a train station on Fen Road or Cedar Street in Newington. Absolutely not.
Okay. I'd be happy to try to answer your question for you. I believe that that there is nothing in the works right now for any train
Okay.
station location. And I'll have Eric Hinckley can confirm that, our town planner, assistant town planner. There is nothing in the works. We haven't talked about it. We don't have plans to talk about it. We may be working on a TOD area for the busway areas, but that's it. I don't believe we've talked about the train at all.
No, we have not had any conversations with the state about any location or funding in the last 6 months that I'm aware of.
Okay, so right now that's pretty much dormant then. That's kind of dead in the water, so to speak.
Yes,
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the insight.
you're quite welcome. Is there anybody else that would like to speak during public participation?
There's nobody online, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you very much, Eric.
You're welcome.
Okay, any remarks from commissioners? Okay, I want to thank everybody. It was a very productive meeting. I'm sorry I couldn't make it there in person tonight. I apologize. But thank you very much. And without any objection, a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much and good night, everybody.
All right, good night.
Good night.
7:15.